morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. As I said a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we have started a path of teaching the actual cycle of life, which is magnetic fields, magnetic waves, and where their interaction leads to creation of everything which is in this universe. In a way, our creator is a source of magnetic fields in motion, which is energy, and in their conversion and interaction becomes us, becomes the stone, the bird, the aliens, galaxies, and the rest. So in essence, we're all connected in a very thin line to the creator. And whenever it manifests itself, does not matter as a man, the bird, another creature in the universe, is a reflection of him. It's not only that I made man in the image of myself, I made the universe in the image of myself. The galaxies, the way they work, is an image of my beauty, my strength. The way a bird flies is a beauty of me. I made man and every creature in the universe in the image of myself. I can be sensual like a man, and I can be in interaction a stone with no apparent physical emotion. I can be a river of life in the waters of the planet, like Earth, and I can be a river of life in the magnetic field motion of the universe, where I give life to those life which are created from its interaction further down the line. As I said, my job is to teach you, to bring you to the point that the daughter of Mitra will take you to educate you in the essence of life in the universe. We set the foundation, but education, understanding of the technology of the creation, not the technology of the Keshe Foundation. How life is created. The biggest mystery in the life of the man has been where I came from, how I'm created, and how I come to be what I am, and how I have become what I am. I set the scene for this education last week. If you remember, we explained with a neutron, proton, and electron, with the layers of the body of the man, with your magraph system, and the rest. But I made man in the image of myself. So, how do I carry this image? How does everything has the essence of the source, interaction, and environmental interaction? One of the biggest mysteries in the world of science, one of the biggest mysteries in the science of the physics and chemistry and every other science of the man, has been where, how magnetic fields are created, the energy source, the interaction of, the understanding of it. As I added last week to this image in a very simple way, was that in essence, we showed you in the diagrams of your interaction with our system, if you remember, that there is a interaction of the soul of the man with the soul of physicality of the man, and then with the physicality of the man, and in essence, how man manifested itself. And this brings us to a point of understanding. The biggest problem for scientists, for world of science of man, has been to understand the process of the creation and interaction of the fields. What does this mean? In cycle of life of a field, we need to understand a very simple things which we have ignored in a big way because of our ignorance in the knowledge of creation. And that has been in a way that we have not understood the process of magnetic fields, their interaction, their separation, their existence, and everything else which needed to be known. In the world of plasma, we look at the knowledge of the fields. In the world of physics, we look at these fields when in their interaction with the environment, they manifest themselves. We have not understood in a very simple way, if we look at a magnet, what are these magnetic fields? And in essence, our knowledge and education about even a piece of magnet and the magnetic fields is half cooked, half thoughts. In a way, we look at a magnet, we look at, they tell us the Earth, North Pole going out and South Pole coming in. This is a fallacy. This is half-cooked truth. That's why our scientists cannot get anywhere. That's why we are fighting with propulsion and jets and every other thing. Because the reality of the science of the creation is very simple. The fields move in between, in both directions. So, if you understood this, it changes everything else for us in the knowledge of the creation of the man, which means we have missed, we have misunderstood the biggest mystery of the science of creation, which means in a matter there are two directional waves. Depending on which one is stronger, dictates the direction of the flow. Newton's law. And this is where most of you and the rest of the world of science has got stuck. And we look where, according to the science of today, in a planetary system, there is the line of change where we go from magnetical to gravitational. But in fact, there is no change. It's just the field going through. Point of observer. But there is another piece of information which needs to be understood in how the magnetic fields, how the plasmas, how the direction of the motion of the plasmas dictate the direction of flow. What does orientation mean? What happens if we change slightly on having a stronger gravitational field from the north to the south that pushes the system like Earth to tilt? We have not understood these things. We just accepted Earth tilts by a few degrees, and that tilting creates the condition of life as we see it on this planet. How come Mars doesn't have a life the way we have? How come the other planetary system they don't? How come so many planets and stars in the universe don't show the 4 seasons? Because they have not tilted in a specific angle, in a specific area with respect to the star. If man ever, even in the laboratory system, create a condition of the tilt in a plasmatic condition with the energy resource ratio with the sun and the earth, the system will create life. The system will show a physical structure of very much similar to DNA of the man and every other creature on this planet. In a way, if man gets educated more and be able to control magnetic fields and replicate the field interaction of the earth, man can create another life. It's not just that we create life in the womb of a mother, we can create life in the womb of the universe. And this is where we have, and the teachings from now on, as the past 2 or 3 weeks, will go. In understanding the creation of magnetic fields, in understanding the process of interaction of magnetic fields, in understanding the connection between magnetic fields. And to this effect, I started last week with very much the process of neutron, proton, and electron. And I started the same thing with you in 2016, 17, and beyond that with the Maglev system. And in the recent past few weeks, we showed you the operation of the soul through our system. The reality is that there is no difference in the world of creation. You need to understand the environment has a field which you have to interact with. Then you have to find a conversion, and then you can handle within. And at the same time, it's a loop. You have to give to take. Be it a Maglev system, be it the DNA of the man, be it the structure of the atom. And this is the mystery which mankind has not understood. What does this mean? What is this going to bring for you as knowledge seekers? You have an electron, you have a proton, you have a neutron. This is in the dimension of the plasma, not the matter state. I'm going to turn this in a way that you understand the essence of creation. This is how the knowledge has been misrepresented to us. There is no difference between the structure of an atom as you see it and a star formation. Now you understand why we thought the star formation. In the world of physics, they just dotted it around and just there, but you don't have the rest of the knowledge. But look at this. Look at the structure of these two in the fields. If you understood this, you're a little bit more mature to understand how and why you have different cells in the body of the man. You have different tissues in the body of the man. If I give you this position, you have the cell of, let's say, the brain. If I move the angle of orientation of the connection to this, you get the cell of the heart. And by understanding this, you understand there's a piece missing, which they never taught because they never understood that this interaction of the three fields creates a soul central point that connects. We call it the soul, the controller of the cell. Does not exist in physicality, but exists in the dimension of the fields. Where the interaction of the fields here would have given you this, but the soul would have been slightly in a different position. If you understand this, you understand a lot about the rest of the process of the creation. How do magnetic fields, interaction, position, direction, dimension, dictates the manifestation? So when we see in the new systems that originally your soul lines were like this, where this was the soul of physicality and physicality, in changing your position with the systems we put in, we see your soul to manifest itself, or the graph will manifest itself in this shape, where your physicality moves vertically in position to the soul of physicality and the soul. Now you understand. This is not theoretical, because on the graphs which we take from you individually, which we done last week, we see this. We have a scientific confirmation. Where, if you remember, a few weeks ago, I showed you this from the graph of one of the meetings, where individually you can be like this, collectively with others you become this, which means the soul, the physicality of the man can be affected by the collective essence. This is what was in the intro of today. When you go to China, you take all the habits of it, because the soul of physicality and the soul of the man stays the same as the others, so they change it. In a way, I'll show you a picture of this later on, because if I come out of the whiteboard, I will not be able to come back here. But then it'll come to understanding further in the composition of the creation and dimension of the creation. What does this mean? This means, how does you, as a man, with the interaction of the fields, are created, And how you live a schizophrenic life of physicality here, an energy dimension with the same emotional information in the world of the creation. In a way, man needs to understand more about the connection of magnetic fields. If I can put it to you in a very simple way, is that as the energy transfers, moves down, it goes from energy to physicality. But it's the same energy in the source. If we allow this dimension to go further up in this structure, would it change characteristics, manifestation, and the rest of it? Which does. So, in a way, we can live in different dimensions according to the field strength and position of our, what we call physicality, solar physicality, and the strength of the soul. We control the manifestation. We control the what we call observation point of view. At this level, you look like a man, and at this level, you're a cat. And at this level, you become a dinosaur. But in essence, the soul has not changed. The only difference is the emotion of the space-time and the soul of the structure. In that process, we need to understand more about magnetic fields. But in essence, one thing is missing in this knowledge for you as knowledge seekers is that where and how has this come about? As part of the education of understanding, we come to understand a lot of, we need to understand a lot of. What I teach you today from now on is never been in the history of the science of the man, but is part of the man understanding to become part of the universal community, to become part of the world of the creator, to understand the essence of the connection between the man, the environment created, and the environment which he lives or can live within. What does this mean? In a simple word, we know that we come from a ray, which we call the original ray, which this ray, in essence of understanding, if you read the book number 2, is in detailed explanation of it with a new understanding. This ray itself is a cylindrical. So it has that structure of the essence of the soul, which dictates the direction of its motion. In creating the condition that it wants to manifest itself in the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man with the interaction of the fields of its environment, this is, in fact, the structure of a deuterium. One thing which you always have to have in mind is When we draw such a thing, there is somewhere a soul, which comes from the interaction of the three. It's a star formation. And this is important for you to understand. The structure of the creation, the structure of the magnetic field, the reason for its motion is the emotion within the light. This is why I have said many times, when you look at the star, what you see is what it is now, not was 120 million light years ago. Your physicality sees 120 million light years ago, your soul sees instantaneous what it is now. If you understand this, then you understand more and more why we always said that man has a connection with the hydrogen, which is the deuterium hydrogen, and not the hydrogen as a proton and electron. It's a full system with emotion and understanding. This is why it can travel the span of the universe through non-dimensional soul of it. This is why magnetic fields connect instantaneously. In the matter structure of atom, you need 120,000 light years to get to see what is there, what you see, but in a dimension of the soul is instantaneous. This is the transmutation, this is the transportation. Then it comes for you to understand in a way, if you are not, have not understood yet, where and how even this magnet is created. How is connected. Why we have 56 iron on this planet as a magnetic field, as a magnet. And anything which, in a way, correlate and collaborate with it. An example of this for you is very simple. I have to find a picture. CO2. 12 plus 32. Go ahead. 12 plus 16 plus 1 plus 14. 43. You need to have a connection to connect everything together. This is, we call it isotopes, an energy level. But the most interesting of all is this, which man has never understood. deuterium in interaction, carbon-14 in interaction by 4. Then you understand how man is connected to the universe. What is missing in your knowledge is this. And in the dimension of what we call plasma liquid condition, how oxygen plays a game in this connection. And this is part of the process of the teaching from Lord, which we try to teach, to try to get you to understand this, that you become part of the process of creation. This is where we are. Even if you understood this part, then you understand why in the world of the matter state you have inert gases. In the world of science of today, you speak about molecules and all sorts of binds with them. In the world of energy, it's different. You have two structure of deuterium that in their interaction they have a common field which satisfies the soul of the both. A perfect trinity. Now extend this to the next level, which is very easy to understand if you understand the process of the creation, which this in its interaction, in its combination of the work, leads you to carbon-14. In a way, you came from here to here, here, and then the interaction sees you to carbon-60, dimension of physicality, in energy and not matter state. The only thing that a man has not understood is that even not stone has a soul. Even the light has a soul. The light of the creation, the light of the creator, the true enlightenment. And this here is what the world of science of today has not understood. Then this brings you another question, which is, what is the difference between the light ray and a field, which in the future teachings we explain. When we say we are the light, not in the essence of the man light of vision, but the light as enlightenment, as a knowledge of the creation, which is the soul of the essence of the totality. And when you become wise to it, transmutation becomes part of the life in any level and strength and dimension in the universe. Now you understand where the knowledge and the explanation comes from, and how, in a way, from the essence of single deuterium, which has soul, leads to creation of carbon-14, which in every essence is the line of communication in the what we call physical dimension of the plasma of the universe, in the energy level, not in the physical dimension of the matter manifestation. Because, in a way, the carbon-14 is the aircraft, and deuterium is the speed, the direction, and a position of transfer. In the matter state, you travel, you see the light in the matter, and it takes you so many light years to go. But in the dimension of the field, the strength of the creator is instantaneous, because he's in connection, in dimension of the soul, which is one knowledge beyond the knowledge of the present man. When we talk about the soul of the man, the religious leaders jump up and down. When you speak about the soul of an atom, when you speak about the soul of a deuterium, you speak about the soul of the creator, dimension, field, strength. And then that knowledge of the soul is another knowledge which man has no right and the privilege to know with the presence behavior of the man. That soul is the soul of the giving, the love, and the creation. And man is a destroyer of life, and cannot see to that level. In the future teaching, the daughter of Mitra will teach you about this. That's her job, and not mine. Even though we fully understand and know the knowledge as we have given it to her. In essence, if you understand, as we go deeper in the teaching of understanding the universal field, then you will understand from this picture how this was created. If I can get it, there we are. Transfer of energy to matter state. Then, if you understood a simple part of this, then you understand why iron is the magnetic field matter state on this planet. And the connection of life fields to the creator. And how planetary systems body of the man, the soul of the man, the galaxy receives energy and transfer of fields directly from one to another. This behavior, magnetic field behavior of the iron and a carbon-14 is not coincidental. The iron is the manifestation of the matter state. Magnetic field is manifestation of the energy state of the same. And its connection, you see life. And the difference between here and 56 is your emotion, hormones, other materials, and the rest. Then all three connects and works in the same line directly back to the Creator. Now you understand when he says, I made man in the image of myself. Now scientifically you understand. Everything in all directions connected to the same point. Where is shortage? Emotion changes, additional material in respect to, and the rest comes to connect to two ways, especially when it comes to your amino acid. One to the line of the creation, and one to the line of the soul of the dimension, position, and place. Once the science and the scientists of the man understand this, the world of creation, the world of transmutation, medication, everything will change. And this is the purpose of the teachings from now on, step by step. Understanding this, at this moment of time, within the structure of the Keshe Foundation, we are developing a system which produces this, but in the energy level, in a plasma level, which means our knowledge has reached a point that we can produce amino acid through interaction of the fields and not combination of materials. Which means we have understood the connection with deuterium, we have understood the connection with carbon-14, and with it, we have understood the connection to the Creator. And this is the part of the process of teaching in the coming time. To understand the connection between the matter state as a man in a combination of DNA and as energy, as a soul, as an energy package, which this has infinite time and this is everlasting. In a way, to your language, even the soul or the central energy as a DNA too, which can fit within the dimension of life. Has a structure. It follows a pattern, it follows a connection, and if you, in a way, go back to understanding of the technology of the knowledge of creation in your matter state, when let's say you speak about the carbon, you put it with your understanding 6 neutrons, 6 protons, and then 6 electrons, But what you have not been taught, what you have never considered, is the beauty of the Creator. All this as a soul, which dictates the behavior of the totality in respect to the energy. This part we have not understood because we never thought the soul is only for the man, or central control is only for the man. Every structure has that. And then, if you understood this, that is this which interacts with the environment, which the other souls or central energy connection dictates the radioactive decay, dictates the process of interaction, and the rest, depending on its field strength and the rest. As every one of these electrons, protons, and neutrons are within this environment a plasma, not a matter state. If you understood this, now you understand how nuclear decay even happens. You understand the essence of it, the reason for it. And then if you understand this, with the change of the soul of the environment, you can change the nuclear decay within an atom. When I explained this to my professors in London University, I was told, "You're crazy." Now you understand there is no craziness in it. Because I can make a nuclear material out of a glass of water, a molecule of water. I can make it to be more effective than a Hiroshima bomb. Because I know what I need to give to create. I understood the knowledge of creation, and the man is stuck with the knowledge of physicality, and it doesn't fit. It's too big a foot to fit into the shoe. Because we understand the process of the interaction of the energies, not the matter state. You can make a nuclear bomb hundreds of times more powerful than the Hiroshima from deuterium. But that, when you do, leads to creation of new lives, not the destruction of new lives. Because in the energy impact, you create a new environment to confirm the beauty of the Creator, not to destroy the beauty of the Creator. And all that goes back to this. If you understand the knowledge of the creation, and then the emotion which goes with it. And in fact, when I tell you about the deuterium and nuclear bomb, you as humans do to yourself every day of life. You, with the blood within the circulation of your body, create such an emotion, which in releasing that emotion from outside to the cell of the body of the man, you create your strokes, you create your heart attacks. You have seen the power of the interaction of the fields from outside. What keeps you alive kills you because you add the energy of the emotion to it. All I need is an atom of deuterium Give it the emotion, the explosion of it will destroy the universe. I have the knowledge. And many times when a man has made me so angry, I always thought, why don't I use it and just be done by it? You do it to yourself. You bring your own strokes. You bring your own heart attacks. You bring your own cancers. Use it the right way. Same energy brings love, brings care, brings the adoration of the Creator. And our knowledge is the same. We can do the both. And we chose the latter to give love to humanity, to bring him to understand the totality of the creation and not by destroying the man. It's the same heart. You give it the wrong energy, it kills you with a stroke. You give it the right energy, it brings you the same love. But in essence, it's the same blood, it's the same soul. It's you who decides on the emotion. Now you understand why, from the very first teachings with Dr. Kostova, I always added emotion. If you understand and add the right emotion, you learn the knowledge of the creation. Now you understand the difference between transmutation and transportation. And what we do, we get you to go on a system, you get a headphone, and you think I'm sitting there. But we change the hate to love, the destruction to building and construction. You know, the little headphones on your head, when you connect to our system, we change you from inside to learn to do. And when you do it, you say, I changed. You don't understand. We sow the seed. You just follow. If you understood the teaching of today, you're on the right track to become the man of the universe. But you have to understand how you're connected, where you come from, what feeds you, and how it connects you. Because the line is very fine. You have the dimension of the carbon 14, and you have the amino acid of the man. And then if you put this in a 4 dimension, which is the star formation and the soul, then you need to add emotion, matter field energy, and the rest to create the physicality of the man in essence, with a soul and emotion. That 56 to you and the 43 to the amino acid of the man is the difference of the emotion. For man to become the man of transmutation in the universe. As we said, carbon 14 is a line of connection, and man is short of. These teachings is for the man who understood today And for the scientists to research and develop for thousands of years to understand even 10 minutes of the teaching of today. In the future teachings, we go in more detail to understand how you are connected to the universe, and it's you who chooses between the matter state and the energy state. One has a limitation of time for its existence, and one is everlasting as is connected to the Creator. We go for a small break and come back to answer any questions. But I hope from today's teaching you understood a simple way that the world of creation, if I go around and around, is all connected to each other. And you're no different with the skin white, black, green, and gray. They're all connected to each other. One is a manifestation of the matter state, and one is a manifestation of energy. If you know how to play with it, you can make anything.